Long ago, legends whispered of summoners, those rare souls who could call forth any power they desired from restless spirits to the very stars themselves. But as time faded, summoners became shadows of the past, their stories sinking into oblivion. Enter Keat, a 16-year-old boy, blissfully single and wrapped in the quiet monotony of sleep, food and school, never once tangled in the wild webs of love. Keat craved peace, dodging noisy crowds like a ghost, yet chaos clung to him like a stubborn leech. Two unruly kids spun around him, nearly darting into the street, until Keat held them back, waiting for the light to change. He had a passion cooking, demanding his skills reach flawless heights. Just as he finished crafting a perfect bowl of noodles, a shimmering portal tore open behind him. Curious, he approached, and out stepped a girl. Frozen in surprise, Keat almost let his noodles slip through his fingers. The girl suddenly shrank, leapt forward, and slurped eagerly from his bowl. She introduced herself as Dora, but Keat, caught between disbelief and annoyance, tossed her out without a second thought. Thinking it was a trick of his mind, he went to splash water on his face, only for Dora to sneak back inside and lap up the broth from his pot. Again he threw her out. Again she slipped through her own portal to return, still hungry. Dora devoured every morsel in the kitchen. Even when Keat pushed her down the toilet, she refused to leave. No matter what he did, Dora anchored herself inside his home. After catching his breath, Keat finally offered her a cup of tea. Keat wanted answers, 3 to be exact. First, who or what was she? Second, why had she come to him? And third, how could he get rid of her? Dora said the full tale was too long, but revealed she was an ancient spirit, summoned by Keat's offering of food. The form he saw was her true shape. The smaller one was just to conserve energy. Unmoved, Keat shrugged and left for school, hoping Dora would vanish by nightfall. But no matter where he went, she clung to him like a shadow. No matter how many times he threw her away, Dora returned, soaring back like a relentless wind. Keat ducked into an alley, tricking her to lose focus and finally shake her off. But at school, Dora still tormented him, driving Keat to yell in frustration, only for the teacher to mistake it for dissatisfaction with the lesson, and Keat apologized. He realized no one but him could see Dora. She even perched on the teacher's head, poking fun at Keat. Seizing a moment when Dora dozed off, Keat bolted from Class A girl from a lower grade, shyly slipped him a love letter, but Dora invaded the kitchen again. Keat snapped at her to scram. The girl, feeling harshly rejected, burst into tears and fled. That afternoon, Keat brought a heap of food and 3 incense sticks, pleading with Dora to leave him be. Tears welled in Dora's eyes as she shifted back to her true form. She confessed that spirits without a contract wander lost until they fade away. But she didn't want that fate. Keat asked for one walk together as a memory. During their stroll, Dora showed him the world through her eyes. She explained that every human is a summoner deep inside, but only a few awaken their true power, a force that can bring ruin or salvation. She let Keat feel that power firsthand, leaving him stunned. Then Dora asked, "Mr. One last time, would Keat accept the mantle of summoner and explore the world alongside her, with a heart both heavy and hopeful?" He agreed and sealed their bond. Joy bloomed in Dora now. Keat could never cast her away. Clinging to his back, she urged him to spread his arms wide. Majestic wings unfurled, and together they soared into the sky, a new journey just beginning. For Keat, the thrill of flight was a brand new adventure, a wild dance with the sky that both exhilarated and terrified him. But hunger soon gnawed at Dora, making her wobble mid-air. Before long, the pair tumbled down, crashing hard enough to break wings. That night, with no electricity, since their power bill was unpaid, they tended to their wounds in the dim glow of a powerless world. Dora sparked a tiny wonder, summoning glowing fireflies not just to light their way, but to heal their injuries. Keat marveled at the magic, yearning to uncover the secrets of summoners. Yet as Dora tried to recall, all she saw was a haunting battlefield, where summoners clashed and herself bound and lost in the void. Exhausted, she drifted into sleep. The next day, basking in sunlight, Dora rested while Keat kept watch as the news buzzed with tales of a mysterious flyer from the day before. City-wide uprooted trees littered the park like fallen giants, stirring Kiet's unease. Quiet had to be their shield from now on. When Dora asked for ointment, Kiet's distracted neglect led to disaster. A tree swallowed her whole. With quick thinking, Dora hurled a sunscreen bottle at Keat's head to snap him back, and he saw her trapped, heart pounding. He gave chase. Dora tried to cast spells, but distance severed her power. Just as Keat closed in, the tree blinded him with leaves and slipped away. At a bustling festival, Kiet crossed paths with the girl who once confessed her love. She dragged her karate-skilled brother along, warning Kiet accept her love and train at their dojo, or face a beating. But Kiet's senses pricked with Dora's faint telepathic call, growing weaker by the second, stirring a fiery rage in him that no karate punch could quell. Through mind talk, Dora begged Keat to find her. Quickly, distance would drain their strength. On his path, Kiet encountered a curious young man buried in books, inviting him to a club for the extraordinary, but spotting something eerily like that cursed tree. Kiet's instincts flared. He charged and landed a fierce kick. Wrestling the plant's disguise, Kiet wasn't fooled for long. Tuning into Dora's voice again, Kiet caught the faint sounds of a band nearby. Racing toward lively music, he still couldn't pinpoint who held Dora captive. Taunting her mind, he claimed freedom. Inside the tree, Dora unleashed a furious flurry of punches and kicks, revealing the tree's true form. Then with a burst, she grew giant and burst forth from her prison. The tree fled, retreating to its master, a summoner girl who owned the plant. Without a word, she turned and vanished. Dora, still seething, gave chase, curious. Dora asked Kiet how he knew the girl was a summoner. He deduced the tree's endless circular chase revealed its center, the summoner herself, not to mention her elegant clothes and earrings, marked her as a prestigious family, a major donor to their school, definitely not someone to cross. Her power surely wasn't to be underestimated. Dora teased Keat for playing detective, to which he confessed the colourful girl stood out like a beacon. Everything else was just guesswork. Later, the girl met with school officials, who greenlit her full power to push Kiet to unleash his hidden potential, promising to handle the rest. Soon, she approached Kiet in class, handing him a letter. Classmates snatched it up, revealing an afternoon meeting in the forest. A showdown was set. Believing Kiet's love confession was genuine, the group trailed him that afternoon. Along the way, the karate brother reappeared, intent on punishing Kiet for hurting his sister and stealing their school's goddess. This clash helped Kiet shake off pursuers, but as he neared the mountain, the chase resumed. There, Kiet reunited with the cat he'd saved days before, relieved to find its wounds healed. Deeper into the forest, relentless followers pressed on until the summoner girl used vines to hold them back. She cleared the path for Kiet to meet her. Immediately, she demanded he hand over Dora, but Kiet refused. A rose whirled past his face, a deadly challenge. The battle erupted. Dora slipped away to find a weapon, but came up empty. Kiet dodged attack after attack as the summoner twisted trees into whips, lashing the bushes and him mercilessly. Kiet dodged as leaves transformed into deadly throwing blades. Meanwhile, Dora was still struggling. Seeing them split, the summoner summoned a monstrous tree beast to chase Dora. She fled but was ensnared in vines just as the tree threatened to crush her. Kiet shielded her with his body. Together, they snatched 2 knives and fought back fiercely. Kiet's glass fist shattered one of the monster's limbs. With wings unfurled and magical shoes crafted for flight, he soared, knife in hand. Like a master chef slicing with precision, he effortlessly carved through the tree. Beast? Dora's eyes widened. Kiet was not just cool, he was a warrior. The summoner shrank her tree back, but as Dora moved to avenge, Kiet stopped her, refusing to become a killer. From the start, he knew she had held back. Proof lay in the 4 trees behind, waiting for Dora to falter. Apologizing, the summoner invited them both to dinner, yet her tree, feeling disrespected, argued fiercely with Dora. Hunger won out, and they all headed home. During the meal, the tree explained their reluctant skirmish was a test. Summoners could be both protectors and threats. They guarded the city and needed to judge Kiet's true nature. After dinner, the summoner introduced herself as Hana and revealed she would monitor Kiet from now on. She didn't trust Dora's recklessness. With that, she left. The next morning in class, a giraffe poked its head inside, followed by mischievous raccoons causing chaos. Outside, wild animals ran amok across the school grounds. News reports confirmed a zoo breakout had unleashed the pandemonium. Fleeing the school, Kiet spotted a girl leading the wild pack. Fearful for her safety, he rushed to protect her. The cat he once saved was there too, but when he lifted the feline, it scratched him suddenly. The girl showered the animals with affection, and Dora warned Kiet this girl was no ordinary human. The girl argued that humans had invaded everywhere, imprisoning animals, and she sought to set them free. A fierce battle erupted. The cat girl struck Hana from behind, caught Hana's arm, swelled with power. Outside, Kiet and Dora watched, confused about who to support. Hana initially held the advantage with her long-range attacks, but the cat girl harnessed animal powers to counter. Hana called forth a mighty tree matching the cat girl's bear form, blow for blow. Kiet and Dora became impromptu commentators, witnessing the fierce standoff. Hana then empowered the tree, growing extra arms, ready for an epic showdown. She regains the upper hand. The trees wrap tightly around the bear, but countless tiny fragments transform into a pack of wolves lunging forward to tear at the wood. Hana commands the tree to sprout thorns, halting the wolves' earwolves assault for now. Then the wolves morph into serpents, coiling around the tree and slicing off a branch. Both sides, though gravely wounded, burn with the fierce desire to keep fighting. So, Kiet and Dora chain them together. He wants them to sit down and talk, since he has captured the cat's true form. Kiet is the very cat he once saved, and also the girl from moments ago. The cat admits Kiet saw through her disguise. As he tends her wounds, a flash of memory strikes her, how he once helped her and gave her the name Miu. Hana's tree demands Kiet hand over Miu, but he refuses. Until Miu recovers, Dora advises her to give up. The two beasts are badly hurt, while Kiet and Hana remain unscathed. Hana accuses Kiet of choosing the wrong side and storms off. That night, Miu reveals that animals can be summoners too, and she's searching for her brother who vanished long ago. Injured and lost, she was saved by Kiet. About today's chaos, Miu admits she caused the massive disturbance to lure her brother out. It was no small quake. Kiet lets it slide and cooks a meal for them both. The next morning, barely awake, Kiet is greeted by a group inviting him out. He refuses, but then they brandish an arsenal of weapons, sending a chill down his spine. They escort Kiet to a sprawling mansion. It's Hana's home. She and the tree await, announcing that the master wishes to see them both. Dora stands in awe of this grand scene where summoned spirits aren't sent to battle but to serve gardening, watering plants, even cooking. Each spirit called forth by a summoner's hand. Inside the mansion, Kiet hears a voice from a statue, and suddenly a vision of a mysterious woman flashes before him. But Dora snaps him back to reality just before he stumbles down the stairs. Soon after they meet, Halen, the head of the Black Rose Society and Hana's grandfather. With a mere wave, he commands everyone to sit silently. He reveals that long ago, summoners split into two factions: the Guardians who protect balance, and the Destroyers who revel in slaughter and conquest. These two sides have waged war for ages, and every summoner must choose a path. Halen wants to know which side Kiet will pick. Yet Kiet was raised to reject the underworld, deemed a dead end with no future. Still, Halen shares Kiet's past, living alone since age 5, burdened by debt. Despite his strength, Kiet's heart is haunted by insecurity. His wallet still holds a picture of his parents. None of his hardships are random. He's yet to uncover their true identity. Dora doubts this until she takes a look and confirms it's true. Halen also warns Miu that her brother has become a wanted criminal, setting the stage for a potential clash between siblings. He suggests Kiet and his friends stay here a few days, promising to handle school matters himself. He's the principal after all. Later, during dinner, attackers strike. A hulking brute is thrown inside, prompting Halen to strike back. He's faced these foes years ago. They fell silent, but now rise again clearly with new tricks. The giant charges, and Halen unleashes a storm of ice and lightning, yet the blows barely faze him. Recognizing he can't hold back, he orders Hannah to take Kiet away, to protect him at all costs. But the moment they stepped out of the mansion, it was reduced to rubble. A girl armed with a gun appeared, shooting down the ghostly servants with ruthless precision. Hannah tried to fight back, but was met with a hail of bullets, and 3 bombs exploded nearby. Then there was a man who controlled crows. Miu recognized him as her brother, yet even he showed no mercy towards her. Kiet charged in only to have his mind invaded by another assailant, forcing him to relive the land and his mother's memory. But the scene twisted into something terrifying, leaving Kiet shocked and unconscious. Hannah and her grandfather fought desperately. He was slowed down by the enemy's overwhelming power, while Hannah summoned her staff for aid, yet it couldn't even touch the fiend. Suddenly, an assassin lurking in her shadow leapt out and struck at Hannah Halen above, had no choice but to heal her wounds while fighting. But as he struggled to heal and battle simultaneously, the enemy seized the chance to launch a full-scale assault, fatally wounding him. Yet with a fierce resolve, Halen activated his ultimate form and clashed fiercely with them. Tragically, the leader unveiled himself and summoned the Reaper, draining all of Halen's power. Having achieved their goal, the attackers vanished, leaving Hannah and Kiet behind. The group returned home to tend to Hannah's injuries. Meanwhile, Kiet discovered online footage of last night's battle captured by satellite, with an informant set to appear today to sign some documents. Determined, Kiet left the staff behind to care for Hannah and prepared to meet this informant, who turned out to be the book thief from the previous fair, now disguised as a woman. But this hacker's skills were top tier. He stopped the entire subway, hacked vending machines and elevators with ease, and even replaced every ad with promotions for his own book. Kiet, Miu, and Dora identified their target and launched their operation. Kiet posed as a book buyer, volunteering to purchase everything. Yet the young man knew their hiding spots and baited them. He had already hacked every camera around with AC, introducing himself as Stan, a seasoned hacker with deep knowledge of the world's secrets. He revealed that last night's attack involved 7 assailants, not 5, as initially thought. Suddenly, the 4 were ambushed by terrorists, and Stan urged them to flee. The 4 pursuers were confirmed to be robots. All targeted Stan, who had made enemies across several crime syndicates. Stan instructed the group to jump off the bridge, where a vehicle awaited to pick them up, but the relentless robots pursued them, proving to be formidable foes. Stan believed these machines were low IQ and not worth worrying about. Yet, they surprised him by shooting at the tires, forcing Stan to reconsider. 2 girls returned to attack, but the robots dodged every strike with lightning speed. Stan hacked the power lines, using the electricity to shield them. Still, 3 robots evaded all attacks from Miu and Dora and closed in on the vehicle. Kiet blocked their path, but the robots increased firepower, nearly shattering his shield. They switched tactics, shooting down the bridge and sending all 4 tumbling. Dora used her wings to soften their fall before shrinking back to her small form. Surrounded again, they were saved when Stan hurled an ACH hack into a container truck, blasting 3 robots away. The robots recovered and fired back, prompting Stan to transform the truck into an Autobot and punch the enemies into submission, though the Autobot took heavy damage, leaking oil and exploding. Stan's identity was finally revealed, and Kiet realized who he was, offering him a place on their team. Stan accepted. He then brought the BA crew to his base, which was in truth just a single van. There Stan showed them how the destroyers were gradually seizing the power of summoners. At Hannah's home, countless blue dots represented summoned souls. Clearly the destroyers had come last night to steal them. Stan noted that these destroyers had grown more frequent and aggressive over recent days. Kiet remembered that day was when he first called Dora. Stan wanted to learn more about Dora's true nature, but she became confused, recalling her past, and refused to dig deeper. The 4 returned to the mansion to review lingering memories from the Soul Guardian, a burly man named Lepart of the Earth system. He had been thrown through a space gate controlled by someone else, and inside that gate lurked a backup agent. The fire element girl with guns and bombs was named DM, a player specializing in explosive weaponry. Miyu's brother, nicknamed Ha, served as scout. The leader who attacked Kiet had stealth abilities that induced hallucinations. The girl who assassinated Hana from the shadows was called Shadow. The leader himself was known as the Reaper. The group descended into a carved-out pit and through reconstruction discovered it held thousands of collected souls. Stan declared Halen the strongest multi-element summoner he had ever encountered. If Halen hadn't faced 7 attackers alone, that night things might have turned out differently. They found a shard from Lei, and from its scent deduced his location was near a field of red spider lilies, flowers that only grow in one place. Stan searched and theorized that one member had been separated from the rest, so the team decided to take a daring risk to gather intel. Keat urged caution, knowing this gamble could cost their lives. But the AI seemed scared, so he reluctantly followed these fearless fools after all. He was a fool too, on the way. Kiet cooked for everyone, catching Stan's interest and prompting him to ask about Kiet's past. Kiet had little to share. Before age 5, he moved constantly with his parents until one day his father vanished, and months later his mother disappeared too. Miyu wanted to hear Dora's story, but she remembered nothing. The more she tried, the worse her headache became. Stan scanned Dora and discovered her memories were sealed, not lost, yet Keat chose not to pry further and told everyone to rest, preparing for tomorrow's life-or-death battle. The next day, the 4 reached a rocky forest and ventured deeper. After some distance, they spotted an abandoned village. Stan revealed rumours that it was cursed. Beyond lay a field of flowers with a lone house in the midst. Miyu sensed someone inside, so they decided to observe quietly. An older man stepped out carrying a hoe to till the land. Stan tried to scan his face, but the network was too slow here. Dora kept chatting non-stop, so Keat had to shush her. They weren't sure yet. Miyu noticed nothing unusual from the farmer and even smelled an approaching storm, prompting Kiet to step outside. The man saw Keat and invited him to share a meal, seeming completely at ease. Keat declined, claiming he just wanted to buy some food. The man offered to fetch more, but Keat refused politely. He shared that he had spent 15 years tending flowers here with few visitors. Curious about his story, Kiet listened as the man recounted how this land was once barren and infertile, unable to grow anything. The uncle who silently loved her tried to plant flowers here, and when she passed away, he fulfilled her last wish. Stan was just about to finish downloading the information, but the storm had already arrived. Stan discovered that the uncle's face suddenly changed, and he ran off, desperately clutching the flowers. Suddenly, his mind spiraled into chaos, and Stan urged them to act immediately, but it was too late. The uncle had truly become the fiend. He begged for help, but the violent personality had completely taken control. Keat tried to block with his shield, but it was useless. Mio attacked, but her claws lacked the sharpness needed. Every strike bounced off him like raindrops on stone. Dora's dagger shattered to pieces, so she planned to team up with Kit for a stronger blow, but that required time to prepare meaning. The others had to stall. Mio used her speed to dizzy the fiend, but he still caught her leg and slammed her to the ground without mercy. Stan knew he had to do something, so he told Keat to burn the items down to the underworld for aid if Kiet fell. Stan would use his light to confuse the fiend. Stan revealed everything he knew. His real name was Makdar, and he suffered from dissociative identity disorder. He was the culprit behind over 10 unspeakable disappearances, unforgivable in every way. Makdar let out a powerful roar, shattering the earth and rocks around them. Stan was blown away, forcing Keat to rush up and raise his shield, but the flying debris exposed skeletons beneath the soil. They finally understood why the village vanished, but their stalling bought enough time for Dora to summon a weapon for Keat. She shared all her senses and knowledge of power with him, urging him to trust his instincts and fight without hesitation. Keat charged forward and pierced through the fiend's armor with his spear. He quickly switched to sword strikes, and then plunged a dagger straight into the heart. Reeling from the counterattack, he blocked with his greatsword and returned the blow. He finished with a thunderous hammer strike. Makdar returned to his normal form, begging all four to spare the true personality within him. He recounted how a demonic spirit had possessed him since childhood. His mother died giving birth, and his father, broken, took his own life. The villagers shunned and beat him relentlessly. When the power awakened to protect him, the people saw him as a curse and chained him to the rocks. Makdar survived by eating dirt and sand until one day a girl brought him food. She hoped to grow flowers in this barren land. He begged for a seed and planted it. That was when he found something worth protecting with his life. But as years passed and the village suffered famine, they blamed him for the curse causing starvation. The girl died defending him, beaten to death. Furious, he created the second personality and massacred the villagers. Since then, their bones nourished the blooming flower fields. Now the second personality begged forgiveness for the first, but Kiet's sword had accidentally pierced the chains binding the demon's soul inside. The demon began to seize control completely. The Reapers knew what was happening and sent someone to prepare. They remembered the day they first met Makdar, and how they had sealed his soul with that very chain. Fear gripped them as the evil spirit stirred awake, and meanwhile Makdar's body was fully swallowed. Stan scanned and saw the heart had stopped beating. Before them stood no human anymore. The group launched attacks, but their blows had no effect. Stan and Mio were the first to fall. Kiet swung his hammer, but it shattered. He thrust his spear through the fiend's head, but it was useless. Desperate, he begged Dora for more power to unleash a final strike, but even that sword shattered to dust. Kiet was beaten unconscious and brought before Dora's seal. It seemed he could unlock the outer seal, yet Dora fought fiercely to keep him safe. This stirred memories of a girl from long ago within him. But soon, a dark soul possessed him, striking Kiet as he touched the seal, forcing Dora to revert back to her original form. She summoned a storm of swords piercing downward, culminating in a colossal blade that utterly vanquished the stone demon. Afterward, Kiet woke up accidentally glimpsing Dora still in her divine form. But when fully conscious, she had returned to normal and gently called him to wake. The four then bid farewell to their companion and set out fully aware that they had become marked prey. As night fell, the destroyers gathered to mourn their fallen comrade, hoping Makdar could finally rest in peace, free from suffering. The Reaper, having sifted through memories, understood what had transpired. Meanwhile, the group fled in a vehicle, two still wounded, and recovering when their pursuers caught up. The Reaper appeared from the front, cleaving the car in half. Na also arrived, launching a relentless assault on all four. Then Diem emerged, firing 2 shots at Stan, and Mio Kiet was brutally sliced into pieces. Dora sat, weeping. Kiet was transported into a void of space and time, where a man appeared to reveal that here in this time rift, he was dead. No, all were dead. Kiet's memories and soul were being drained away. Fueled by rage, Kiet shattered the fragment of reality around him. His anger stemmed from his own weakness, but the man granted him 3 minutes to fix everything. Removing his hat, the man revealed himself as Kiet's father, urging him to meet at the Demon Forge once this ordeal ended. Kiet then rewound to the moment Dora bandaged him, beginning to devise a plan. Just as their pursuers arrived, the vehicle was empty, and a bomb detonated, granting them a narrow escape. The four sought Hana only to find she had left a note, warning the destroyer was 2 kilometers behind. The good news was that Kais had borrowed Hana's plane. They rushed aboard and vanished. In her letter, Hana also mentioned she awaited him at the Demon Forge. Stan explained the Demon Forge as the training ground where summoners hone their skills and battle to grow stronger. Simply put, it's a summoner academy. Both Halen and the Destroyer originated there. Stan described it as both paradise and hell, though little current information remained. Luckily, Hana left coordinates and Stan calculated they'd arrive in 7 hours. Rather than face relentless pursuit, they chose to head there, hoping to find secret martial arts scrolls. After 7 hours, they reached the 3 Devil Horns. Passing this checkpoint, the 4 would officially enter the Demon Forge. Without hesitation, they plunged into the eye of the storm. After fierce shaking, they succeeded. They'd made it. The group rejoiced at the thought of safety, but Kiet sensed a looming threat. Suddenly, they were ambushed. Kiet raised his shield to block, but the plane was shredded and they plummeted. Sang transformed the aircraft into a robot, slipping inside to shield himself and strike back. He hid, leaving the battlefield to DM, who unleashed a hail of bullets. On the 4 Na appeared again, severely damaging the robot, forcing Stan to bring it down. Fortunately, they crashed on an island, but the destroyers awaited relentless. Out of nowhere, a rabbit girl appeared, forbidding any fighting. This was the Demon Forge. Neither Kiet nor DM knew she was an AI, so they remained cocky. Only the Reaper, a graduate, recognized and respected the Rabbit Lord. Withdrawing his forces, Stan and Dora rushed forward, clutching her legs in gratitude. She was their savior. The rabbit girl declared she'd wait for them at the arena before dashing off without guidance. The group stood lost until a local merchant named Richard offered them a ride. He assured them the island's safety rating was 100%. Criminals hiding here were still protected by the island's laws. It was a place where good and evil blurred. As long as laws were obeyed, anything went. Richard explained that long ago, as summoner factions suffered from endless war, they called a truce and created this sanctuary. Any AI breaking the rules became an enemy of all summoners. Thus, conflicts were settled in the arena instead of war. Richard then led the 4 to the island's best tavern. Knowing their inexperience, he told the owner to charge whatever he wanted, but prices stayed fair. After drinking their wounds slowly healed, the group wanted more drinks and Richard offered to pay. What they didn't realise was this was just a merchant's trick. He also took them on a market tour filled with magical goods and clothing, where they bought outfits. They picked matching gear, and Richard again urged the shopkeeper to charge a premium, just as they planned to explore further. Kiet reminded them of their main mission, so Richard took them to register. Climbing a long stairway, the rabbit girl delivered a speech about the contestants' purpose before the registration ritual commenced. She presented 4 gates for registration, each with a unique challenge. Gate 1 required money, which Stan passed thanks to hack wealth to rich clients. Gate 2 required beauty. Dora entered and brought Keat along. Chung Mio was rejected and had to attempt Gate BA, which tested strength. Frustrated, Mio punched the strength scanner. Richard passed through Gate 4, judged by prestige, nobles, tycoons or officials. It revealed Richard as a top 10 global criminal. This harsh reality meant that among a million summoners without one of these 4 traits, it was best to give up. The rabbit girl then declared the selection would span 100 floors. Any AI clearing them all would win the prize. None had passed beyond the 10th floor yet, but Dora was confident she'd conquer all 100. She led them to floor 1, home to a hotel for rest. The hungry youngsters dashed off to eat. The group dashed away as the entire hotel erupted in explosions and began to collapse. They had to escape through a deadly gauntlet, spiked traps walls of fire. When they reached the grand hall, a massive blast tore a gaping hole in the floor and the ground itself started to crumble. Dora spread her wings, catching Stan and the others as they fell. Risking everything, they sprinted across and finally reached a door. But here information was tangled and trust became a fragile thread. With no way back, Keat kicked down the door without hesitation. The group found themselves in a vast hall where most contestants had made it through. Suddenly, the judge appeared, a figure who made many want to lash out, but chosen. Judges were anything but weak. The rules didn't forbid killing judges, but to pull that off required unmatched skill. He rounded up a few challenges and rewarded everyone for passing the trial. The rewards were random, giving the AI a chance at fortune. Some received money, others rare items or precious treasures. Stan's prize, a bomb, the key to unlocking the next level. As they descended, Ms. Rabbit startled the whole group with a sharp scare, sending chills through every AI present. Though she claimed it was a joke, no AI found it funny. Here, Mrs. Rabbit would judge the next round, setting the rules, run 20 laps, and only the fastest 15 would advance. At the start, Miyu brimmed with confidence, while Stan hinted at having his own secret plan. The veterans came prepared with roller shoes and vehicles for this challenge, as the race began just as predicted. Mio led the pack alongside a cheetah. Meanwhile, Death had already geared up to challenge Keat back to the race Mio led, followed by a flying squirrel and the duo Dora and Kiet. Other contestants trailed close behind. The standout was a manga artist who sketched speed boost effects, literally bringing his drawings to life to surge ahead. Stan, starting last, rocketed to the front using a rocket-powered hat Keat, hoped it wasn't armed with a nuclear warhead, but Stan reassured him with a smirk. By the second lap, Kiet warned the group those falling behind, discovered a loophole not needing to run, but eliminating opponents instead. A cowboy took aim, shooting others off their vehicles. His bullets chased Keat and Dora, who retaliated with a venomous round that paralyzed any AI who touched it. Mio transformed into a snake to slither past the traps. She had the flying squirrel use wind magic to clear the toxic air bonded as fellow beast players. A samurai vowed to slash any who crossed his path, but Stan fired a rocket at him, only for the samurai to slice it in half. At that moment, the manga artist dashed in to save the day, writing the word blade, which instantly severed the samurai. Quickly, Stan asked for the artist's autograph, with only 15 players left. Miss Rabbit declared that the first to finish would win. No need to complete all laps. Kiet's team, confident of passing, scrambled fiercely for first place. Meanwhile, the Destroyer duo grew bored and challenged each other to a solo fight. White-haired saw their brawl and, irritated, wanted them to stop. No one understood why Death barred them from the tournament. A teleporting girl confessed she tried sneaking in, but her powers failed and guards chased her off. So she helped Ra run errands, buying a TV. Now watching the broadcast, she caught the news Mio took first, Kiet second, and the manga artist third. The next round, a cooking contest. Kiet and a chef calmly claimed the prize. Stan rose to the challenge, using his mechanical skills to prepare the food. The fourth round was a singing contest, but DM, burning with jealousy, shattered the TV in frustration. It looked more like Kiet's group was on a vacation than competing. Then Death himself appeared, meeting the three of them. Since none had ever been to the forge before, he offered them a chance to visit Kiet, bringing the young man along. He called this a surprise gift for Keat from the tournament's organising committee. At this moment, the remaining contestants, those eliminated and those continuing, were all tallied. More than half of the eliminated had registered to try again. They also entrusted the rabbit girl with a vial of spiritual energy to take up to the 100th floor and present to the goddess Pandora. Their goal from the start was clear: to awaken the goddess by any means necessary. Honestly, I don't know why the episode ends here. Looks like we have to wait for season 2 to see how it unfolds. For now,